waterfront view. How good's that?
6 weeks ago, when a tinny was the only way you could get around Coracai in northern New South Wales, this is how Lachlan McGivern found his house.
This is going to be an expensive little process.
The local plumber, his wife Renata, and their 4 kids bought here 2 years ago.
So there was all our fridges, the beds, washing machines, lounge, TV, your dishwasher. There was nothing. The water all went higher than all of it.
That was when it started receding. It actually came up above that and then went back down. We've had some friends come in, help strip it out for us, but we haven't finished getting the old cladding off yet so we can treat the mould.
Having grown up in the region, Renata and Lachlan were aware of the risks, but the cost of flood insurance was well beyond their reach.
We did the maths. We've got some quotes for insurance with NRMA. It was going to cost us $36,500 to cover it for flood.
The McGivens are insured with NRMA, and according to this 108-page product disclosure statement, when they opted out of flood insurance, storm cover disappeared too. On February 28, the flood was 2.5 metres higher than the 1 in 100 year mark. Coracai was cut off for a week, but eventually the NRMA assessor arrived.
Well, the assessor, when he was leaving, said that a few things could happen. NRMA could give us a partial payout, they could come completely to the party, or they may just send us a denial letter.
The McGivens remained optimistic.
Other insurance companies were paying out other people even if they weren't covered for flood and natural disaster.
3 weeks later, Renata got the call from NRMA Insurance.
She said, as you know, you're not covered for flood, so on that, we're denying your policy. She said, do you have any questions? I said, yes. Why are other insurance companies honouring their clients, covering, paying them out, helping them, coming to an agreement because it is a natural disaster?
Across New South Wales, 1 in 3 people count on NRMA insurance.
With the NRMA such a dominant player, the McGivens are far from an isolated case. Drew McRae from the Financial Rights Legal Centre says they've compared 34 separate insurance deals, and the NRMA is the only company which includes rainwater runoff in its flood policy.
So if you had been up in the Northern Rivers, for example, and been affected by a storm that had rainwater runoff and you'd opted out of flood, you wouldn't be covered. So what NRMA have done is, for all intents and purposes, expanded the definition of flood to incorporate rainwater runoff, which no other insurer does.
We asked NRMA Insurance why. They said they made these changes to provide greater clarity for customers. They also told us that for any of their customers who can't live in their homes, they're offering up to 3 months of temporary accommodation if they don't have flood, rainwater runoff or storm surge cover. Back in 2017, ASIC called for standardised insurance definitions, while the Senate committee described the industry as sapping consumers of the will to compare.
There are many, many terms in these things. The documents are up to 150 pages. Even the most financially literate people in the world won't be able to read those, compare it against all 34 other insurance products out there and make a decision that is well informed. I mean, let's face it, it's just impossible.
Ian Brown lives across the street from the McGivens, and like many others, he's still waiting to hear of an outcome from his insurer.
They say they're doing the right thing by sending a hydrologist, you know. The hydrologist is supposed to tell you where the water's come from, you know. I could have told them it came from the sky for 9 days.
Meanwhile, the McGivens' kids are doing the best they can.
Sharing one mattress with 3 people, sometimes 4, is a bit annoying because someone ends up on the ground and then has to climb back in with everyone spread across the bed.
So if we don't have a house to live in and we've still got to pay the mortgage, we can't get a rental under $800 and you've still got to pay your repayments on what you owe, you can't do that. So what are your options? You either declare bankruptcy and call it a day now, or do you live in a shell of a house because you can't afford to put the walls back on?
We checked with the McGivens and they've never heard of this offer of 3 months temporary accommodation. The NRMA's full statement is available on our website.